How's it going, everybody? So I'm just here sipping on some tonic herbs. Sipping on some tonic herbs. And I figured I'd bless y'all's mind with some golden tidbits, some free game, some delicious insight that y'all can snack on. So, I've been getting a lot of DMs and private messages with questions and inquiries and people's problems that I think could be significantly improved or, for the most part, actually solved altogether if they start to kind of think in the way I'm going to describe in this video. For a while now, okay, more and more, I've been utilizing this principle. It's been developing over the course of a couple of years. And I've been noticing just how much struggles and problems it tends to resolve and confusion. So what we're talking about here in this video is quality over quantity for all things, okay? Within all subjects of life, quality over quantity. And essentially what is known as a Pareto principle, if I'm saying that correctly. And that's essentially that 80% of your results comes from 20% of the methods employed. Okay. So, it is just a matter of finding the most effective 20% to yield you the 80% of results, right? A lot of people, so this goes into a lot of different things, and so I've been through back and forth with quality and quantity in every area of my life, okay, over the course of time. This goes for relationships, this goes for nutrition protocols. Like a lot of people who follow me are coming from my older videos where I was talking about deeper, more advanced nutrition science topics and reversing disease and putting conditions into remission and things like that. I have had videos talking about vitamin deficiencies and like the best types of vitamin supplements, mineral supplements to resolve them, and all sorts of stuff. People can go down these deep rabbit holes of just consuming large quantities of information, whether it's self-help information, right? I made videos talking about why I don't read self-help books anymore. And there's a lot of videos out there talking about how self-help books, if you don't know what self-improvement, self-help, self-development is, it's like a genre of books that is geared towards basically getting your life together. There are a lot of people who got addicted to that, just consuming every self-development book or self-improvement book that they can find. And, obviously your life will improve as a side effect of upgrading your paradigm from these insights. But, like, how much time are you going to spend reading books on how to develop your life until eventually you have it figured out, right? There's whole YouTube channels dedicated that have like 900 videos just discussing these self-development topics. Do you really need 900 videos? Like years and years worth of freaking content on how to upgrade your life? At some point, you gotta just fucking live your life, right? You know what I'm saying? It's got to just be good enough to where you can enjoy things. But that's just one area where quantity just completely obliterates quality, where people just focus so much on the next idea, the next topic, and yada yada, that you don't really reap the benefits or the rewards as much as you would have if you just said, all right, fuck all this information. I've learned enough. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to develop on actual practical application now, right? That's a trap a lot of people get caught up in time and time again. So another thing, right? Quality over quantity. The supplements and biohacking and crap, right? So I made videos talking about why I, vitamin supplements, you don't really need them, right? Mineral supplements to some degree are kind of like, a lot of them are useless for a lot because a lot of people are just taking these vitamins and mineral supplements because they heard a guru claim that it's important. Like magnesium is needed for over 400 different enzymatic processes and blah 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 blah. All this jargon that these people, that most average people with no science background, they generally don't even know what the fuck is being said. They don't understand most of the jargon, but they're sold by it. They're like, oh well, it sounds like this vitamin D supplement or this magnesium supplement or this berberine, right? Or this black seed oil or whatever it is, right? This epicatechin gallate polyphenol supplement. Sounds like this is very important and very beneficial. I don't know what all this jargon is. I don't know what, a dopamine carboxylase is. But it sounds like if I take this supplement, it's going to make a huge impact, a lot of times these supplements don't really give people like a significant noticeable difference, but they're like, well, I heard it takes a couple of years to take effect, or they're like, I know I don't feel anything right now, but according to this guru, right, Brad Schoenfeld or whatever that blonde Australian guy that's into longevity and resveratrol on YouTube is. I don't think it's Brad Schoenfeld. That's the hypertrophy researcher. But whatever, this other Schoenfeld guy, right? If I take resveratrol, may not feel shit in the short term. In fact, there's intervention trials that show it might increase my estrogen, right? might actually lower my... But if I keep taking it, right, along with a calorically restricted diet, right, protein modified fasting protocol or whatever it was, proteins, after 100 years, I might actually live twice as long as my peers, and it's like just the craziest like concepts and ideas that for me, because I actually experimented with these things and realized, damn, this shit's actually fucking me up in the short term. And it's a lot of like resveratrol and all these things. So much fucking money's being spent, and I don't even actually know for sure if I'm going to get any practical benefit outside of potentially 100 years later. I might actually live longer if I don't get hit by a bus or something, right? So anyway, I was like, why am I even taking this shit, right? But anyway, so a lot of what we perceive as quality and like these health food supplements and nutrition protocols and things, right, is purely mental masturbation. It's infatuation with an idea and doesn't hold any real practical relevance. This was true when, for example, raw veganism. Okay, now I know most of y'all following my channel may not be able to relate because most people following my channel are animal-based people and they're usually anti-vegans. However, I was plant-based for like 4 years. There's actually a video sitting on my hard drive where I just go on and on about my diet history in a very kind of scattered kind of way. But I haven't posted it because it just, to me, just is not structured enough. It sounds like a long rant, and I'm missing a lot of information on there. But if y'all want me to post it's an hour and a half long video talking about my kind of like journey, right, with all these different diet programs and stuff, let me know and I'll post it up or whatever. Just if you request it. If you don't request it, I might never fucking post that. But I tried every nutrition protocol under the sun. Okay, every macrobiotics, everything. A lot of people don't even know what the fuck macrobiotics was. But anyway, yeah, so like, a lot of people, they're sold this idea that, like, for example, it could be like carnivore as well, right? Like everyone's hyping something up and it's like, oh, this carnivore diet's going to make you into a superhuman. Look at Sean Baker. He's 55 years old and he looks like he's on steroids, but he claims natty. And I'm just saying, like, he, you know what I'm saying? He's a world record holder in, I think, deadlift. Well, that was Texas state record, as well as world record holder in indoor rowing. All this stuff. He's a badass, and I'm not claiming he's on roids or something. I'm just saying, like, most people follow that diet. They claim they feel superhuman and they look superhuman. And most of y'all know I competed in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I won a gold medal, 2 gold medals on a almost exclusively carnivorous diet, combined with 1 meal a day. So I'm not knocking the carnivore diet. I actually technically follow an all-animal diet right now, if you consider honey and tonic herbs a part of that, I guess, right? Like ginseng and stuff. But anyway, the point is, like, for a lot of people, they try these diets for a long time. And I think that's a good idea. If it's not working, you could just be doing it wrong. Sometimes it does take some time to, like, kind of take effect. But at a certain point, man, if it's not working for you, it might not actually be as high quality of, as valuable as a kind of protocol as you thought. The same thing with plant-based diets, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so your quality can be deceiving, right? Value can be deceiving. Anyway, I recommend you try out an animal-based diet and try carnivore for a while. Just make sure you're getting enough sodium and salt if you do. But where was and protein as well, and calories. But anyway, a lot of people like I actually literally collect nutrition science books. Okay, or better yet, just weight training, strength training, fitness books, health science, nutrition science, anything relating to that, as well as self-development and self-improvement books. As much as I speak out against consuming too much of that information, I can't help it. When I'm out at, like, used bookstores, okay, like Goodwill, thrift stores, estate sales, right? For whatever reason, that's a fun thing I like to do with some of my friends as well as my mother. And sometimes, believe it or not, like, there's certain girls, like, I've gone out with, like, we'll just go like thrift shopping or window shopping, right? And I can't help it, man. If I see, a Tony Robbins book for like 99 cents at Goodwill, why the fuck would I not buy it, right? And I found all sorts of badass books that way. But anyway, the thing is, man, like, I'll go to the damn thrift store, I'll buy 20 fucking books, right? You know what I'm saying? I'll walk out here with 20 different books. I bought the whole Dr. Oz collection, even though I don't like Dr. Oz. Was it Dr. Oz? I think it was Dr. Oz. And it's just mainstream medicine shit telling you to eat a low cholesterol diet, which is funny. Am I going to read half of those books? Probably not ever in my fucking life, okay? A lot of them aren't worth reading, okay? But this is the big point I want to get across in this video is there is infinite amounts of information, infinite amounts of diet protocols. There's infinite amounts of, like, supplements and supplement information now. And you're not going to have enough time to try all of them. The other thing is, what exactly is the purpose of trying these things, okay? So this is a big thing for me. It drove me crazy. When I first started my health journey in 2012, and I for those who don't know, I made a huge life change. I was the lead singer of a band. My whole thing was, like, playing shows, partying with my friends who were vocalists. We do vocal covers together. We'd meet up with girls at these, like, shows. When you're a lead singer of a band, you have girls all over you. You can't get them off of you. So it's like people who think, like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Like, bro, it's impossible to not. So we just bring girls back and we do vocal covers. We get a 4-pack. Well, we get a shit ton of energy drinks. Okay, we'd walk 3 miles from the bus stop because it'd be like 11 at night or whatever to the condo, and we would just, man, play video games, drink energy drinks, do vocal covers, jam music all fucking night. Anyway, where was I going with that? I went from that, doing death metal shows and playing music shows and whatnot, being the Dr. Dre of death metal, to suddenly tired of relying on other people for my success, my bandmates and stuff, and just doing martial arts and personal training and fitness and health, on top of having like severe health issues I needed to solve suddenly. And so I had so much passion and energy that I was kind of flooding into, being a band and a vocalist, that I suddenly started to kind of pour into my health journey and my nutrition science and all that stuff. So, and on top of like having a severe health problem I need to solve, I wanted to read all the information. So what did I do? I had so much anxiety because there was so much information. The more I was looking, the more answers I was looking for, the more questions I had. And on top of that, I was questioning, what's the meaning of life? So all of my friends, like, instead of hanging out and having fun, I would be asking them deep life questions and trying to get their insights on, what they felt the purpose of living and all this shit was, and all this crazy shit, man. And that, I didn't realize at the time, but for one, most of my questions could not be answered. No one actually even knows facts about health, disease in the human body. Like, we can't prove without a shadow of a doubt that, for example, butter causes or contributes to heart disease or doesn't. You can't really prove that per se. You can only provide evidence, and it's the quality of evidence that matters. But anyway, I had severe fear of missing out. I felt like if I needed to read every fucking book possible. This is some real stuff. And I was acquiring so much information in such a rapid amount of time, because at the time I made enough money doing what I was doing in a short amount of time that I had plenty of hours every single day to kind of like read and stuff. So most of my free time was spent just consuming health information. And it created paralysis by analysis, information overload, and it was terrible. And I was trying to just like share it on my YouTube channel for a while. My first YouTube channel on this channel actually was 2013 January. It was like me talking about crying and why crying is a good thing or some shit like that. It was weird. It was weird. Anyway, the more answers I sought, the more information I sought, the more questions I had. I eventually had to realize that I was never going to learn every fucking thing or read every single book. And most of the information that I read in all these books, people with PhDs, super highly respected experts, most of what they said was full of shit and not grounded in any practical application. And the thing that people don't realize is you can literally have an idea or a belief about health, and you can put that into practical application, and you can do certain things with health information that don't actually work and still get a good result with it, and lead you to believe that your protocol or your method is good, when in reality there's some other thing in the background that's actually causing those results that you're not even aware of. And your actual method that you think is working might actually be complete bullshit. That was the case when I was raw vegan and I resolved my psoriasis and my intestinal issue. I thought, I'm detoxing the meat and fruit is magical. When in reality, it was the grains that I removed that was the thing. Went raw vegan, all my symptoms went away, health condition improved, intestine problem and psoriasis went away. Then I went starch-based because I was losing too much weight and catabolizing. And ate the grains and starch solution diet. Suddenly, all my symptoms were the worst they've ever been. And then I went paleo, basically, meat, fruit, and non-starchy vegetables, and all my problems went away again. It's like you could easily assume, it was a raw veganism. Anyway, it's about finding the right protocol, though, okay? I've read more health essays, nutrition science books and essays and all that than anyone combined. You know what I'm saying? But I've come to realize that you don't need a super complex knowledge base to be effective with what your intention is. You get so caught up in collecting information that you forget, why am I even trying to read all this information in the first place? What is the whole fucking purpose? You know, you read self-improvement books, what? To like constantly feel like you're above other society? Like, who cares if you read Tony Robbins, right? Or these idiots who like read this alpha male philosophy bullshit or whatever, watch these alpha male gurus on YouTube, and then their whole life is like they're like, their whole purpose every day when they wake up is to try to pretend to live up to this image or this label of being an alpha male, which is so stupid. No one gives a fuck how alpha you think you are, right? We're not even lions or whatever, right? Let alone gorillas, idiot. Like people out there, oh, I'm a silverback gorilla. No one cares. Fucking idiot. No one fucking cares. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to produce happiness, fulfillment, or none of that. All it's going to do is create some weird fake self-image and narcissistic idea of reality that no one cares about but you. And meanwhile, as soon as someone punches you in the fucking face or something bad happens to you, suddenly the whole alpha male thing goes down the drain. Unless you're like, no, I gotta keep it, I'm alpha, I don't have emotions, or whatever it is. Like, like no one cares. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, Jesus. So definitely keep in mind the menu is not the meal, okay? The idea you have about a diet, or the idea you have about a philosophy, or the idea you have of who you think you are, who you want people to perceive you as, it's not actual reality. It may not actually be real. And what I mean by real is it may not be effective. It may not be the alpha, omega, the be all end all that you think it is, right? So you got to kind of think of like, why exactly am I reading this information? Why exactly am I trying to pretend to be alpha or whatever stupid shit, right? And so anyway, with nutrition, obviously it comes down to very simple things. You know, I want to have, you know, I don't want to have digestive problems. I want to feel energized. I want to feel full of life. You know, I want to be adaptable and tolerant. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh no, you got to have perfect sleep and all this crazy shit. It's like, no, actually what you should strive towards is being able to feel great and amazing no matter how much sleep you get. You need to don't pray for circumstances to be perfect. Pray for the strength to make perfection out of imperfect circumstances. That's some weird, I don't believe in like God or the Bible or whatever. But that's kind of like a good quote to live by. You want your diet and your herb program or supplement program and your mental philosophy, whatever you believe in, whether it's God of the Bible or law of attraction or whatever, if it makes you more adaptable, more robust, more healthy, energized, happy, fulfilled, that's what matters, okay? I don't give a fuck if you are like plant-based or you're this or you're that. It's about effectiveness, okay? And so the 20% of methods, okay, are what we're looking for, and that's how you find them, okay? You shouldn't have to read the probably 400 or more fucking books I have in my fucking room that I'm never going to have enough bookshelf space to be able to put up on there. And I got a friend talking about buying me all these bookshelves. I'm like, bitch, where are we going to put them? Like, my damn apartment. She's like, oh, put them in against the wall in your living room. And man, I got a damn squat rack up in here. We're gonna make this shit into a dojo is the plan. I think I'm gonna put a damn bookshelf up in this dojo. Me and my friends and whatnot, clients gonna rustle and break the damn bookshelf. Kidding me? Crazy. But like, thanks for the idea though. But where's it going with that? Anyway, so what I like to so let's get into relationships, right? But just to kind of close that. That's why I've trended away from dopamine receptors and all that other stuff. You know, and I always use dopamine receptors as a example just because that's the first thing that comes to mind. But, you know, gut flora, microbiome, mitochondria, you know, lymphocytes and killer T cells and all that reductionist lingo and reductionist biochemistry type information. I thought that was the answer for a long time because I was like, oh, it's like, you know, reducing the human body down to its smallest molecular parts. You know, like it's what's actually going on in the body and it can be measured and all that stuff. Now I realize the majority of that is just, it's giving people a false sense of factual reality. It doesn't actually translate to real outcomes. We don't actually know the ideal levels of triglycerides in the blood or anything like that. I mean, we can only speculate. And I'm not saying that it's unreliable or not useful. I'm just saying if you hyperfixate on the reductionist parts, dopamine fasting, dopamine detox, it's like doing these things, dopamine detoxing, whatever, can be beneficial as hell. Absolutely life-changing for a lot of people. But what people miss is that you're not technically detoxing from the molecule of dopamine when you do these things. Or if you solve your intestinal issues, right, you know, by changing your diet, okay? A lot of people fixate on, oh, it's the gut microbiome. You want to eat, you know, a lot of fiber and this and that for your gut microbiome, okay? And people will do all this stuff. They'll do all the fiber, prebiotics, flaxseed, psyllium husk, whatever, and they'll take a $100 probiotic, okay? And, you know, their symptoms might not really improve, might not resolve completely, or, you know, and then they'll be like, oh, well, it's okay, you know, just because it improved a little bit, I think, you know. Meanwhile, I just remove all fiber and all my problems go away, you know, or else, you know, maybe their problems get worse. And the whole problem is that you're fixating on reductionist ideas. It is the problem. The microbiome and all this crap, that is what you are using to guide your entire decision-making process surrounding nutrition science and crap like that. But instead, if you focus on symptomology, to find quality information, what do I do? What have I done? What do most people that actually solve their problems actually do? Even doctors do this in medical practice. Like we praise like evidence-based nutrition, and if it's not in a intervention trial been shown, then you know it's not worth our time. There's constant debunking of herbs and supplements and stuff, and the evidence-based nutrition community because it's not been proven with intervention trials and this and that. But yet, a lot of what the medical doctors do with medications are kind of through trial and error, using things for different kind of like off-label usages and things, just depending on the doctor and the guidelines and rule book that they have to abide by, depending on where they're located and shit like that. But there's a lot of not tested things that go on in practice. Like in medicine is a lot of trial and error. You know what I'm saying? It is an art, but also a science. So, you know, these people who are like, you know, all about evidence-based stuff, you know, reductionism and biology in that regard, shit like that, it's a fantasy, okay? And it's not the most effective thing that you can be doing. What you got to do is look for people who are actually getting results in the area that you want to get results in. And don't think just because they're getting results that their protocol is perfect or that they have it all figured out. This is the problem, the next problem people run into. You know what I'm saying? Like, but find people large amounts of people who are using a protocol and getting and resolving their problems. They're solving the problem that you're trying to solve. and then look to see if there's any other communities who are also solving the same problem with a different program. Okay, this is key. Okay, this goes for strength training. So there's a lot of people who get world record numbers in squats and deadlifts, but they believe that the human body can only recover from so much training, and that there's a super compensation effect, and that they can only deadlift once every 2 weeks or something. And that's not actually biological fact. Actually, the body will adapt to whatever it's being exposed to consistently over time, provided stimulus isn't too much for it to handle in one given session. There's also people who deadlift 3 times a week who have world record holder numbers, and they're deadlifting heavy. And then and so that's just one example. I'm not going to go too deep into for most of y'all, because most of y'all don't care about strength training, but that's just one example. There's people who squat to a daily max every single day and squat 500, 600, and 700 pounds respectively. And they squat every single day to a daily max. And then lots of these other people who do world records in the squat are like, no, I couldn't do that. Like, I would, it's too, you'll die if you do that. The body needs to recover and super compensate, even though super compensation's never been proven outside of glycogen replenishment. That's the only anyway. And I own Hans Selye's stress book as well, 2 of them actually. So bought that shit for $3 from Goodwill, motherfucker. Yeah, the original copy, bitch. But anyway, yeah, motherfuckers. Bet y'all don't have an original copy of Hans Selye's stress experiment books. So anyway, damn it, where was I going with that? Okay, so like I was saying, so finding groups of people who are getting amazing results with one protocol that are solving the problem you're trying to solve with with one protocol, right? And then finding another group of people who are also doing the same with a different protocol. Here's another example of how this applies. How you should, they may not have it all figured out. Okay, so Dr. Sebi and the alkaline vegan diet, heirloom vegan diet, whatever you want to call it, his electrical foods, magnetic foods, whatever. The body is alkaline. The body is alkaline. The body is supposed to be alkaline. The acidity, the mucus. We must detoxify the mucus. It's like the worst Dr. Sebi impression ever. But so that guy, I don't look. Here's the facts. Okay, there have been dozens of people who have insisted that they've put extreme cases of cancer into remission and other diseases that I'm not going to name because I don't want to get shadow banned or whatever, into remission, doing like an alkaline, doing Dr. Sebi's program. And, apparently there's other kind of supplements and herbs that he was using as well. Like I think a burdock root and a special tea, the Essia tea or what have you. And then, nowadays there's these Dr. Sebi cell salts or whatever that I don't think he actually promoted or used, but I might be wrong. I think it's actually a marketing thing. A lot of people are actually trying to market and profit off of Dr. Sebi's work back in the day. And a lot of it's just not actually as accurate to his teachings. But anyway, lots of people healing all sorts of diseases using Dr. Sebi's diet, right? Including severe cases of cancer. There's also, and he has documented reports, and he actually apparently, I think he won in court, and was it Supreme Court or something? Because he had documentation to prove that he actually did heal these people's conditions, right? But then, of course, there were raw vegans, Dr. Doug Graham, who made the 80-10-10 diet, fruitarian, right? And I'm talking about this. There was recently a influencer who followed the raw vegan diet and died from malnutrition, but still, there are a lot of people who did Dr. Doug Graham's diet who healed brain tumors and all sorts of shit, right? And so you know, if that's the only information you found of people healing these severe diseases, and mind you, most humans, they're like, there's no way you can heal cancer. Cancer's just a death sentence, and you need all this chemotherapy and shit. You know, so when you see people claiming to heal cancer on like a raw vegan diet and shit like that, you're gonna automatically assume like that's like some kind of magical shit, right? And that must work through magical means. There's no other, protocol that can do the same shit. And that was what I was thinking back when I did raw veganism in 2014, 2015. So the thing is, though, they claim, it's the detoxing of the meat and the cellular toxicity and the mucus and all this other stuff. And of course, they have years of malnutrition symptoms. And they probably have B12 deficiency, which induces schizophrenia in and of itself. And they claim it's like that they're detoxing the decades of meat that they had in their system and their karmic debt and all this crazy shit. Meanwhile, you have people who follow ketogenic diets and carnivore diets. There's actually a YouTube channel that, for whatever reason, doesn't have any views. It's Professor Thomas Seyfried, who is actually pioneering cancer research right now and the reversal of it. And he has a YouTube channel with a couple dozen, maybe 30 or more anecdotes, last time I checked, documenting people reversing cancer in different forms using a fasting and a therapeutic ketogenic diet program, okay? And his main thing is limiting glutamine, which is an amino acid that's found heavily in protein foods, right? Because proteins are just larger peptides that are multiple amino acids bound together. So glutamine as well as glucose apparently feed cancer cells. And so when you remove those from the diet, you starve the cancer away, and eventually the cells that kind of switch their metabolism over to over-oxidizing glucose or what have you, switch back to oxidative metabolism, and then the cancer cell kind of heals on its own, supposedly. Anyway, point is, two competing paradigms, right, that are both getting the same exact resolution and symptoms, okay? The ketogenic people and the carnivore people, right? And then the raw vegan people. Which one is correct, right? The raw vegan people, they're like, it's the meat and you gotta detox and all this other crap, and it's the acidity. And I have a whole video explaining why the acid-alkaline balance theory as far as diet and disease is complete nonsense. You'll basically die or pass out if you have acidic blood. Right? Metabolic acidosis you can't just live with, you know what I'm saying, for a long period, for longer than a couple hours or whatever, a couple days. Anyway, right, and alkaline water is just like baking soda added to purified tap water. It's crazy, these fucking marketers, man, how they, like, it's crazy how people can actually fall for these things, right? The idea of alkaline water versus what it actually is, purified tap water with baking soda. Fucking hilarious. Not to mention that shit's gonna alkalize your stomach acid and cause digestive problems, but people just don't. Wow, I don't even know how to explain that stupidity, but whatever. Right, tap water's bad for me. I only drink fucking alkaline water, right, bottled with the microplastics, and it's like, it is tap water, bro. Like, okay. Anyway, like, I don't eat sugar. I just eat agave syrup. Okay, right. I don't eat sugar. I eat organic cane sugar or whatever. Anyway, where was I going with that, man? Yeah. So look, if it was the acidity and all that crap that the raw vegan people say that's actually causing it, then obviously the fucking meat people or the ketogenic people who are literally living off of mostly keto acids, right, beta-hydroxybutyrate in their blood and acetate, okay, literally shifting the metabolism over to acids in the blood, fueling their lifestyle, then yeah, they wouldn't be healing from cancer on the ketogenic diet, right? Literally living on keto acids, okay? And yet they're healing cancer because, there's something else that the raw vegans are missing. And when you're on a raw vegan diet or Dr. Sebi's Heirloom alkaline diet or whatever, sure, you may be eating a lot more carbohydrates than the ketogenic diet. But what people fail to understand is, for one, they're limiting glutamine so much because it's virtually very little to no protein. Right? Or spirulina is where you get your protein from. Okay, bro, sure. Right, yeah. Lots of protein in spirulina that you're, supposedly. It's fucking hilarious. You know how much spirulina you gotta fucking consume to get your daily protein needs, silly boy, or silly, whoever you are. Where was I going with that? So because you're in a net catabolic state, your insulin sensitivity is, or at least the glucose that's being kind of used for energy, for healthy cells and whatnot, probably going to go way up. Okay, you're in a net catabolic state, and you're in such an extreme caloric deficit that glucose is probably going to be less likely to be partitioned towards the cancer cells. Now, I'm not going to say anything on that, but that's why I think that they're able to get away with it on that kind of like raw diet or whatever, and they're able to resolve disease. They're just in a net catabolic state, and that's changing the way the glucose is metabolized. Whereas on a ketogenic diet or a meat, whatever, and the intermittent fasting and all that shit, they're also on a low protein diet. They're restricting glutamine, and they're also restricting the glucose. And so anyway, but the point is, two opposing paradigms can have the same result. And so you need to be able to think find the different things, and don't be too attached to one paradigm, right? And then kind of compare the philosophies and use reductionist science to kind of like determine which one is which, or which one is the most effective. And so, or why they're getting those results. So anyway, if you do this, right, and you kind of follow, you look for what works, and then you change, you compare the paradigms and try to understand them all, and you stay skeptical, and you're not going to be like, oh, raw veganism is the way, meat causes cancer, or carbs cause cancer, or whatever, then you're going to be able to more like, be more able to decipher what's quality information or what's more likely to be real or whatever. And then when you actually figure out what's actually going on and you actually understand these things, and then, through trial and error, you find something that works for you using this protocol. And I'm just using that as an example, but there's a lot, it falls into place with everything. How you train, your relationships, everything. You're not going to need to read all the fucking books and stuff that I've read. Anyway, and so, yeah, it's more important to see what works in practice and comparing those paradigms and understanding those than otherwise. All right, so one more thing I want to touch on is quality versus quantity in relationships, okay? So, so there's only a couple of things that even are important in regards to health, okay? In my opinion, and that would be how much total meat intake you're consuming, and then whether you feel better on carbs or a ketogenic diet, and then filling the rest of your calorie needs with the carbohydrate energy or the fat energy. And then on top of that, removing the foods that make you feel like shit. A lot of people feel bad on a higher fiber diet. Some people are very sensitive to starch, and I found I get really bad sinusitis if I consume starch. My nose closes up, and I get lethargic and feel like shit. So I eat mostly fruit or honey as my, But anyway, where was I going with that? And then tonic herbs on top of that. So that's my quality. But relationships, right? Relationships, okay? You don't, if you find that one person, right? Or if you're polygamous, those 3 people that are like, have qualities way beyond what you find from other people. Like if they just they fulfill your all the needs that you need, right? Whatever it might be. Most people, they don't have enough self-belief or self-confidence or self-esteem to go out and actually find people that are good for them. But yeah, then you won't need to worry. You won't need to cheat on them and all this other shit. That's going to be another topic for another time. I spent this entire almost an hour talking about nutrition science and shit. I was going to fucking talk about relationships, and I was going to talk about all sorts of other shit. But as usual, I start with the idea in mind, and I just go too deep in like one topic, and yeah. But yeah, I whatever. So I'll make another video. Like, y'all let me know in the comments if you want to hear me talk more about relationships or books or information or whatever. Let me know. But let me just say, that's the thing. Nowadays, I feel like there's only there's only a small amount of books that I feel have made a tremendous impact. And what I think is a good strategy is find those books that you really resonate with and that really help you the most, and read those small groups of books you've already read over and over again, right? You don't have to read all the newest books and stuff, right? Unless there's a lot of hype around them and you really want to. So for me, I found this to be way more healthy for my brain. I can't handle the FOMO, the fear of missing out, of infinite amounts of information that I just am never going to possibly be able to read. And so there's only so many people that you can be best friends with. Only so many girls that you can develop a deep relationship, or that you will even want to, that are even worth your time, per se, right? Only so many people that are really worth your time. There's only so many hours in your day that you can even spend doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? So find the books that are the most valuable use of your time. Find the diet programs that are going to solve the majority of your problems and require the less amount of maintenance. For me, life is great, man. I buy, 16 pounds of meat or whatever per week or whatever. I eat 2 pounds of meat a day. You know what I'm saying? I only get the tonic herbs, right? Those are the only so-called supplements I take, and I don't view them as that. I view them as like a consistent upgrading of the internal machinery in your body. But they're constantly upgrading my mind and my physiology and my psychology and my energy and my spiritual potency. But I only take a small amount of herbs now, right? I take ginseng, cordyceps, rhodiola, and that's actually it right now. Occasionally, I'm kind of experimenting with Kuna a little bit, and I only order from specific brands, right? I order my cordyceps from Hyperion Herbs because Brandon Gilbert is a legit guy who is real as fuck and will not sell you some bullshit. And he has third-party testing and everything else. No better brand out there. And I've been ordering the same cordyceps for years now. And I have no reason to experiment with anything else because I found the best shit, right, that you can get. I these days only read books, philosophy by Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy. And I read Think and Grow Rich as well. I find that to be a great one, but, whatever. I don't even read Abraham Hicks anymore, especially after some of the shady information I learned about them. But I need to read deeper. Nutrition books. I don't even read nutrition books now because I eat meat. I'm great. I might have like a sushi date with a girl or some shit, or eat a shit ton of sushi. Or whatever, maybe go out for tacos, because I only date Latina chicks these days. So we'll go out to a badass Mexican restaurant. You know what I'm saying? I have a very select diet. I have a select type of person, female, that I date. I'm for me, I found the things like the 20% of things that give me the most impact, and I just do more of that. And you know what? And I think that that's a secret to everything. Like training too. Training for jiu-jitsu. There's like a small select amount of techniques that I've been working on and developing since my first legit competition that I smoked through and destroyed and won gold. And I've just been practicing those same techniques I won that tournament with and developing them and making them more advanced and tweaking them and testing them on more and more skilled opponents over time. And I do very specific types of training because I notice the people that don't get results in jiu-jitsu are the ones who are always they're just kind of doing whatever during their training. They're just doing a whole bunch of different rolling, and it's all random. Random rolling, random sparring, random training. And it's not concentrated enough. And there's books out there about the top performers. There's Talent is Overrated as a book, and it talks about specialized training. And Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich talks about specialized knowledge. The more that you do the same thing and get and develop that, the more you do the most impactful stuff, the more impactful it becomes. Bruce Lee said, "I'm not afraid of the person who knows 10,000 different kicks. I'm afraid of the guy who practiced one kick 10,000 times." And that about sums up all of this. It really is quantity over quality. Quality over quantity. Sorry, it really is quality over quantity, right? How much does it matter how many subscribers you have on YouTube? Like I have a couple of friends or people that I've talked to that I've known that literally have, hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, but yet they're crying and complaining about not making money on YouTube. And I'm like, but yet they're always like busting their ass trying to grow their YouTube channel. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you putting so much effort into growing your YouTube channel? You've already got 500,000 subscribers or more, and you're not making money off of it. Then do you really need to grow your YouTube channel more? If you already have 500,000 subscribers, you're not making enough money off of it. Maybe it's not so much the quantity of subscribers, but the quality of your information, or better yet, how you're conducting the content you do make, right? Meanwhile, I regularly have people reach out to me, and I don't even market my consultations, and they're willingly asking for health consultations without me marketing it. And I only have 8,000 subscribers, but yet I regularly am able to make quite a lot of money from consultations that I don't even market with such little subscribers. You know what it is though? The 14 people that might like my video, every couple weeks or whatever, are the ones who are messaging me on Instagram, asking me for questions, asking me their questions. They are the ones who are going to be paying me for health consultations, right? My content's very specialized. My content is it resonates with a very kind of select few people. And if I focus more on my YouTube channel, make no mistake, if it was part of my affirmation routine and visualization, if I really wanted to grow my YouTube channel, which I just haven't had the interest in doing, to be honest, these days, it would grow for sure. But the thing is, I have other friends, okay? I'm not going to say a name, okay? But he has around 50,000 subscribers. And this dude has products that he's selling, and he doesn't even advertise them, especially not these days. And he's making a shit ton of money, way more than he needs, from just, and he only has on average 20 to 30 people that are engaging in his YouTube content, posting one video a week or whatever. So, to me, it's like it doesn't actually, like, it's an illusion to think you need 1 million subscribers to make money on YouTube. And again, it goes back to, is it the quantity of subscribers that matter? What is your intention? People, they're like so fixated, I gotta grow my YouTube channel, or it's like an addiction. Especially the validation people get, right? Or is your intention, well, because if you're crying about not making money off YouTube, your intention is to make money off YouTube, not to grow your YouTube channel, right? And some of these people like that I've talked to who do this shit, I think they pay for subscribers, and it kind of makes me, it's like, I can't trust this person or respect this person. They clearly are paying for subscribers, and then crying about how the amount of subscribers that they have paid for, that they have, aren't making the money. It's funny. It rhymed. They didn't even try, honey. But anyway, yeah. So, friends, right? Everyone's like, oh, I'm not popular. I don't fit in. Bitch, it doesn't matter. If you got one fucking best friend, like it's normal. Most people in their lives generally have that one really good friend. Sometimes maybe 2, 3, maybe they'll have a best friend circle, right? But most people will only have one best friend, and that's all they really need. And then they might have like one significant other, ride or die girl or whatever, or 3 or 4 or whatever, right? But people they're like, oh, I just didn't fit in high school, and I'm just a loner or whatever it might be. I'm just too weird. When in reality, that's actually how it normally is. Should you really care if like you're popular and you're invited to parties or whatever it might be? For me, I was super popular throughout high school. Super popular. I made a whole video talking about it, but then I just like, I'm not going to post this. It just sounds like I'm bragging. But I was so popular that at one point in my high school, because it was a self-paced high school, it wasn't like a normal public school, but there was like 400 kids in that school. Regularly, there was a math class in the middle of the school, and the principal I was really cool with, that guy would actually have us close the doors and I think lock the doors in the math class. And all these people at a certain time would come into the class just to hear me freestyle rap and then do the worm. And I would battle rap other kids in that classroom, even though we're supposed to be doing math class, right? And I do the worm. Anyway, so I had that shit, and it was cool because you always felt good. Your ego was always boosted. Self-esteem was always through the roof. But, the majority of those people after high school, like, they'd hit me up on social media or whatever, but did I ever really hang out with them? How much did we have in common, right? What we're going to do, just sit down and, like, battle rap? I didn't smoke weed. I was straight edge, but everyone else smoked weed. So, at the end of the day, it's not about how many people you're friends with. It's not about how many freaking nutrition science books you've read, degrees you have, all that stuff. It's more about, what is the purpose of this in my life? What is the purpose of me reading nutrition books, of me reading self-help books? What is the purpose of, like, what is the value of it? What is the value of this friend in my life, right? What is the value of it? What are they giving me that is kind of like making it make sense, right? And that sounds like a kind of self-centered, selfish thing to go from. And for me, I think everybody has inherent intrinsic value, but sometimes if they're making it too hard for you, eventually you're like, it gets to a point where like, well, you're causing me so much stress and turmoil, and I'm not really getting a whole lot of like, what, like, our connection. What is our connection really? How do we feel when we're together? What kind of knowledge are you bringing me? What kind of experiences are we having? And a lot of people, they don't think that way. They just allow these like relationships that don't really serve a purpose just keep going on until it self-destructs. And I don't even want to get into the whys as to why that is, but so you really should start to kind of think about what is the value of these things in my life, because the more value something holds, the more of a positive impact it has on your life, whether it's books you're reading and information, gurus you're tuning into, friends that you have, clients that you're seeing too, right? Because some clients, they're just, maybe they're paying you money for your services, but it's so much stress, and maybe they're not even staying consistent, whatever it might be. It's like, it gets to the point where you're like, okay, is this even good for you? Like, you're not getting any value out of it. You know what I'm saying? You're just and for me, I'm getting some money, but like, I'd rather help you transform your life. You know what I'm saying? And you're just not putting effort into it. So, I have friends that are entrepreneurs that have like a service-based lots of friends are entrepreneurs that have service-based kind of businesses, and they'll fire clients, they say, right? And that's like a really eye-opening thing when you start to think that way. And it's interesting because most of society don't, because they have fear of missing out. They're in scarcity. They're like, nah, I got to get all the money I possibly can. So, if this person is like paying me money and, it's a hassle for both of us and they're not actually getting their money's worth because they don't give a fuck about what they're paying for, but I'll just keep taking the money. It's like, I don't know if this is integrity or what, but for me, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but like, this isn't working. You're paying me money to like help you become a better person, or, to improve your health or whatever it is. But you're not following my advice. And like, I'm not doing this for the money. If you're going to continue to like, pay for my services, I want to see you actually making an effort, because I want for you to get results. I care about your health. I care about your results. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And so anyway, value is kind of like a two-way street, right? And I like to think in terms of the law of exchange, okay? And I think that's a very valuable concept, right? The law of exchange, okay? People think that either you're getting money from something or you're not. And money is just money, right? They're like, well, I have to be in a contract and work for money and this and that. Fact of the matter is, people give you donations. They'll give you money as a gift. I've had people give me money when they hear me just like talking in public places. I literally have. I've gained lots of clients. I've gained respect from random strangers in public when I'm like talking about certain information, to where they take my number down or get my business card when I used to have business cards, and then they'll give it to other people as well. I ran into people while I'm like upgrading my car registration, and I'm sitting in a waiting room where other people start to ask me about things. So I wear certain shirts that provoke their thoughts. Like I have a shirt that has my Instagram account on it and other things, and me doing jiu-jitsu. I have people start to ask me about jiu-jitsu and stuff, and then we get in a conversation, and then they start to want to take down my number when they realize I do strength and conditioning for jiu-jitsu athletes and stuff, so that they can refer their uncle or their nephew or their son, or so that they can pay for training. And then another person will stop me as I'm leaving the place outside, and I'm all scared. I'm like, are we going to fight? Are you trying to shoot me, rob me, whatever? Like, hey, I heard your discussion inside there, and I just want to take down your information so that I can buy, consultations or whatever. I've had shit like that happen. But people think in terms of just like, either it's money or it's not. That's what value is. Or you have to like work a job for money, or there's this or that. And no, that's not exactly how it is. And some people will, there's a lot of other kind of things to this. So anyway, I'm kind of just going on and on. This has totally gone all sorts of weird ways that I wasn't intending for it to. So let me know down in the comments what you got from this video so I can change the title. I don't know what I'm going to title this video. And I'll talk to y'all next time.